What's up, everybody? It is Amrinder Singh, and today we are gonna talk about Punjabi word sakda and its alternatives. Probably you heard this word sakda, most of you guys, maybe some don't, but I think it's very hard for you guys to notice when somebody is using its alternative while they are speaking, and that's what is being used mostly when people talk in a street talk. They use this word sakda very rarely. Now you might think, what kind of situation we use Punjabi word sakda. Basically, when we have to describe some kind of ability, or maybe you want some kind of permission, something like that situation, that time we use sakda. It's basically the same thing in English like a can. Can in Punjabi that sakda, alright? In the past, in English it's good, in Punjabi it's sakda si. So basically this lesson is about like a pre-intermediate level. I also made 9 lessons about beginner. If you're a beginner, make sure listen my those lessons. You don't need to listen all these lesson in 1 or 2 days. Basically, if you wanna learn Punjabi, listen one lesson and then work on that lesson for a week, then listen second one and work on the week, right? So it's gonna take you like 8-9 weeks and apply those things to you. Basically, in beginner lesson, I talked about how to talk about any past, present, and future. The basic stuff, right? Now this one is basically when it's conditional sentences, all right? So if you want to make conditional sentences, like in this situation when you want to describe ability to somebody, or maybe you want to ask the permission, so we use sakda. This word sakda could be a little different. It depends on the feminine, masculine, plural, all right? So that's what I'm going to talk about this. And in the last part, I'm going to tell you alternative. And the alternative of sakda is very important, all right? Because on street talk, that's what people use, all right? So make sure you listen it till the end. All right, so what's the meaning of sakda? Basically, I already told you, can. All right, let's take some examples. If you're asking somebody, can you jump over this wall? All right. So in Punjabi, you will say, ਤੂੰ ਇਹ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ? So basically, ਕੰਧ means a wall. ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰਨਾ, alright? It means jump, alright? And ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ means over. And here ਸਕਦਾ means can, right? So it means, can you jump over the wall? ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ? So if you want to make this sentence in the past, basically, then just put C at the end. ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ? Like, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੂੰ 10 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ, ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ? Now, in this situation, person asking you, like, when you were 10 years old, like, could you jump over the wall, right? It's in the past. If you want to make the past sentence, just put C at the end, all right? Now, another thing, I'm using this sentence as masculine singular. ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ, alright? I say ਸਕਦਾ. It doesn't matter you are using what kind of pronoun you are using. You are using ਤੂੰ, ਉਹ, or ਮੈਂ, alright? If it's singular, then it's going to be a sakda, alright? Like if I want to tell you, like, I can jump over the wall, I will say, ਮੈਂ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ. So the verb is basically this word is like a sakda is going to stay same, alright? If it's masculine singular. Now, if you are gonna talk about basically a feminine singular, then it's going to be like, ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ? Now it's ਸਕਦੀਆਂ instead of ਸਕਦਾ, ਸਕਦੀਆਂ, alright? If you wanna make a masculine plural, right? ਉਹ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, like they can jump over the wall, right? Now ਉਹ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ. Now ਸਕਦੇ, alright? ਸਕਦੇ. If you wanna make feminine plural, then it's going to be ਉਹ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ, alright? Now ਸਕਦੀਆਂ, alright? Again, for masculine plural, is ਸਕਦੇ. or feminine plural is sakdiyan, all right? And masculine singular is sakda, and feminine singular is sakdi, all right? That's what you are gonna use when you're gonna speak Punjabi if you wanna describe ability, all right? Let's take another example. If you wanna say like, can I watch TV, all right? You will say, man TV dekh sakda. All right, if you're a guy, you say man TV dekh sakda. All right, like can I watch TV? Now you use sakda. If you're a girl, you say man TV dekh sakdiya. All right, sakdiya. Now you use sakdiya. So basically, in this situation, you're asking a permission. All right, so that's how you're gonna use sakda. All right. Even most of you guys probably know this thing. All right, what I'm teaching you probably know. Maybe some of you guys don't know. And let me know if you know how to use Sakda before or you don't. You tell me in the comments if you are listening it on Spotify. Now let's talk about its alternative, which we use all the time while we are talking, all right? Okay. First of all, I wanna say I don't recommend you guys to use it because it's gonna be more complicated. But we use it more, right, than Sakda. But it's important for you to learn. Maybe it's hard for you to use, but you can learn just for listening. Because if you listen to a Punjabi person, all right, maybe two Punjabi people are talking, and maybe you're watching a movie, something like that, so you can understand, right? If you only learn Sakda, mostly you will learn it through the books as well, maybe from your teacher. But when we are basically making the same sentence, but we are not using sakda, so you won't understand, all right? So that's why I want to teach you this thing. Now let's take same example, like can you jump over the wall, right? Mostly, if I want to talk to, or I'm talking to my friend, I'm basically asking this same question about his ability, right? I won't say tu kand tu chhal maar sakda. It's very rarely when I'm gonna say that. I would just say like a ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗਾ, alright? ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗਾ. I will use ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗਾ, or I can use ਮਾਰ ਦੇਗਾ, alright? ਮਾਰ ਦੇਗਾ. And if you're a girl, I would ask like ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗੀ or ਮਾਰ ਦੇਗੀ, alright? Now, I'm not using here sakda at all. I'm using just the word mar denga or mar dengi. Depends on your guy or girl, right? Now, it's not only changed according to masculine or feminine, singular or plural, right? It's also changed depends on the pronoun. That's why it's more complicated. Now, let's take the example of the masculine singular, right? I said, ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗਾ. I just ਮਾਰ ਲੇਗਾ at the end, alright? And it's masculine singular, tum. But it's the same thing if I want to say, I would just want to tell you like I can do it, right? Or I can jump over the wall. I will say, मैं कंध ਉੱਤੋਂ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ, alright? I use ਮਾਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ. Now you can see the difference, alright? It's both are masculine singular. When I was using tum, it was maar lenga. When I was using मैं, it's maar lunga. Alright? And for plural, for third person like a they, then it's o shall maar ਲੈਣਗੇ. Now it's maar ਲੈਣਗੇ. If I'm using ਅਸੀਂ, it's also plural. I will ਅਸੀਂ shall maar ਲਾਂਗੇ. Alright? Maar ਲਾਂਗੇ. So you can see the difference. That's why it's more complicated. That's why I don't recommend you guys to focus on this thing. If you're like an intermediate level, you already know the sakda word, you're pretty comfortable and you want to learn more, then you can learn this one. I'm not saying you shouldn't learn this. I think you should learn it, or you should basically not learn. I think everybody should learn it. I'm talking about like using. You can use it if you like this. Otherwise, you don't need to use it if you find it complicated. But you need to little bit know how we make the sentence, all right? Okay, now if you see the verb marna, marna means hit, but here is together like a shal marna, shal, all right? Shal marna means jump over something, all right? Now I'm using short marlenga, lenga, right? Marlenga. The verb is basically marna. The basic verb is marna, right? As you guys know, if you listen my beginner lessons, you know how verb changes. When I talked about how it changes in past, future, and present, it also changes due compared to a conditional sentences. All right. If you're a little confused because if you're saying I did Marlene, yeah, I did God, and if you're thinking that's what you use for future, all right, it's a little different. It's still future because I'm asking for the future. Like, can you do it in basically in the future? But it's not like a completely future. It's mostly condition. I'm talking about the ability, right? It's a little different. All right. Now let's say if I wanna say like a value jump over the wall. All right. Well, you jump over the wall. I will say ਤੂੰ ਕੰਧ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਦੀ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰੇਂਗਾ. Now it's marenga. All right. When it's used marenga, it shows I'm talking about future. All right. Like a well you do it. All right. Now the verb is marenga. All right. Marenga. But if I say marlenga, if I put le at the middle, if I marle, then I put ka, marlenga. Now in this situation, this form of the verb marna, it shows I'm asking you, like, can you do it? All right. Here's a different marenga and marlenga. All right. So basically, whatever the verb we are gonna choose, and we are gonna put at the end like a laga and a lagi, something like marlenga, now say lenga, lungi, something like that. Everywhere like a dekh lunga, right? Now dekhna means watch or see, right? So when I say dekh lunga, right? Main TV dekh lunga, all right? Now when I say main TV dekh lunga, it's more likely to also like I will watch the TV. If I wanna ask a question like I will say main TV dekh la, all right? When I say main TV dekh la, it means can I watch the TV, right? So there are a lot of variation with this alternative, all right? So basically, if you heard the verb like kar dunga, all right, tum kar lenga, something like that, tum bag jayega, kar lenga. If you heard the sound like that, mostly it's kind of the alternative for can, all right, alternative for sakda. That's what we use. So basically, next time if you heard somebody using this kind of stuff, like if I wanna say like, can you do something for me? Can you do one thing for me, right? In Punjabi we say like, tu mera ek kam kar denga, or I can say tu mera ek kam kar sakda. All right, I use sakda here, right? Which is mostly is being used if somebody is on the interview, right? Something like that. They're gonna use sakda. But with friends, we are gonna use mostly like tu mera ek kam kar denga. All right. Now kar denga. It means like, can you do something for me, or can you do one thing for me, whatever, right? Now another thing, if you notice the verb, all right, when I'm using sakda, the verb is kar, all right, like or mar, like tu shall mar sakda. The verb is mar, all right, which is a form of the verb marna, all right. But here it's only just mar. If you listen my podcast about when I was talking about continued tenses, all right. So in that podcast, if you see the verb I was using, it's same structure. Like if you wanna say same thing, like if you wanna say he is jumping, or he is jumping over the wall. You in Punjabi you say like informal kind of stuff, all right. Now I'm not talking about in this situation a different accent. As you guys know, if you listen to my recent podcast, in a continued tense, there are a lot of variation, depends on the accent, all right? So the formal one is mostly reha, like O shal mar reha, right? Main TV dekh reha, all right? I'm watching the TV, main TV dekh reha. But we don't say that. We say like a main TV dekhi jana and marwa. Some people say main TV dekhan deya, all right? Anyway, if you notice the formal, one. मैं TV देख रहा. Alright. The verb is देखना. देखना means see, watch. Alright. So here, देखना verb is used like a देख. So what we are doing, we are eliminate the na sound. देखना, we are gonna eliminate na. We are gonna only put देख. Alright. So मैं TV देख रहा. Right, मैं खेड रहा. So खेड means खेडना, but we eliminate the na. Alright. So it's continuous tense. So same verb structure you're gonna use with sakda. Alright. Like मैं TV देख सकदा. Alright. Again it's देख. Alright. मैं TV देख रहा. Now it's I'm watching TV. मैं TV देख सकदा. Can I watch the TV? Alright. The verb structure is same. Alright. If you wanna know what kind of verb structure we're gonna use with sakda, just listen my podcast about continuous tenses. Alright. Even it's present continuous tense or past continuous tense, the verb structure is going to be the same. Alright. Only difference you will see at the end. Alright. When somebody wanna ask you something about permission, or they wanna ask you what your ability, that time they are gonna use sakda. Alright. And in continuous tense, they are gonna put reha. Alright. So mostly you heard this kind of stuff when somebody is interviewing, or they're a little bit kind of formal, semi-formal, you can say. But in street talk, this is not that much common. Now, people don't use both sakda and the reha. People don't use that, right? And instead of reha and continuous tense, people just say, like in Malwa, we say, मैं TV देखी जाना, मैं खेडी जाना, right? मैं जाई जाना, मैं कार चलाई जाना, right? करी जाना. So we use jana. Alright? That's what we use. And we also make the every verb as feminine, like karna, kari, khedna, khedi, dekhna, dekhi. That's how we say, alright? I already talked about this one. In Maja, people say karan down, khedan down, stuff like that. They use down. Alright? So we don't use reha in street talk at all. So it's very rare. Sometimes we use maybe here and there. And again, we don't use sakda as well. Like we say like instead of saying like can you drive a car, right? Instead of saying like ki tum car chala sakda, all right? I will say like tum car chala lenga, all right? Tum car chala lenga, all right? That's what you're gonna hear. But I think for you guys, if you're a beginner, all right, maybe pre-intermediate level, basically this lesson is for pre-intermediate level. And first, I recommend you to just learn a basic sentences in the past, future, and present. All right. Spend a couple of weeks on those lessons. All right. Maybe 2 months, something like that. Maybe 3 months, whatever. When you will be like, okay, I can make some sentences in the past and in the future, whatever. Then you can move to this one. So at the beginning, you can stick to this one. You can use sakda. All right. But you also need to know the tone of the verbs, the ending, all right, the way we use to describe basically to ability, which is the alternative for sakda, all right, like kar lenga, dekh lenga, something like that, all right, chal mar lenga. This is also mean we are asking about your ability, all right. Tu motorcycle chala lenga? Can you drive the motorcycle? Can you ride the motorcycle? Chala lenga, all right. That's what I'm gonna ask. That's what I'm gonna say to my friend or people, people around me. That's how I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna use the sakada word. All right. That's my point. All right. If you only learn sakada, it's not enough. Right. But when you wanna speak, I think it's easier for you to stick with sakada because you're gonna make less mistakes with sakada. All right. Because it's only changed. It depends on the masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, feminine plural. All right. But other alternative is gonna change every singular, masculine, even the pronoun. That's why it's complicated. And sometimes in some situation, even when we say kar lenga, khel lenga, sometimes even it's not about ability. It could be a future as well because there are a lot of variations. That's why it's hard to teach you this kind of stuff. You would learn basically this kind of stuff when you just maybe listen to people, Punjabi people, most of the time. Maybe if you listen some Punjabi like every day, maybe hour or 2 hour, and you would listen for a long time, then you would automatically understand that. All right. So anyway, that's what I want to tell you. You can learn Sakta, but there's also alternative. So if you think you are learning something new from this podcast, please support this podcast on Patreon or through PayPal. I would really appreciate it. Or if you wanna take private lessons from me, then you can contact me through Patreon or Telegram or through my email. All the links are in the description. At the end, if you are listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then you can give it to 5 star. It would help this podcast to spread to the more people. I would really appreciate it as well. Another thing, if you are struggling with Punjabi pronouns, then check out my ebook about Punjabi pronouns. All the links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and learned something new today. I'll be back with another lesson another day.